Hey, hello. You're stuck in traffic with Wolf Gorlick. Some thoughts on IT security, a couple-minute riff on securing the technology that runs our lives. So this past weekend, I was with some friends and family, and they pulled out a game called Banana something. Bananarama, I think. It was basically like Scrabble without the board. I don't really like bananas, but I do like Scrabble. And so the way it worked was you had to build as many words as you could, Scrabble style, everything had to be connected, and whoever was the last one out of pieces, or the first one out of pieces rather, won. And everyone would like take the tiles and turn them over and start looking and thinking, and once everyone was ready, they yell out something, and everyone would go. And I had a completely different strategy. I had all my pieces turned over so I couldn't see them until they said go, and then I would take one piece at a time, turn it over, and figure out how it fit. Keeping my focus on that one piece, right? And I was winning. It was a good strategy. I ended up winning. I don't know, I won most of the games, but I won more than anyone else. So it was good. And then I was thinking earlier, or rather later, early this morning after that game, about security operations. So I was talking to a friend of mine. He's like, yeah, part of the problem with security operations is, you have this big backlog, and the way the tickets get into you, and is the ticket system live, and is there enough information in the ticket, and really, it occurred to me that there's a lot of similarities between what I was doing with that silly game and a well-run security operations center, right? So a well-run SOC is streaming work to the analysts at a pace that matches their workflow, right? Not too many, not too few. Too few, you get bored, and too many, of course, you get overwhelmed, and you start looking at everything, trying to make everything make sense, and your productivity goes to the floor. This is very similar to the whole getting things done mentality of work. If you guys have read that book, it's the same concept. Batch size. Batch size is key, and queuing is key. Have a consistent batch size, a small enough batch size that you can get a few tickets done within a certain amount of time, and have a queuing system that doesn't overwhelm your guys. Now, that can be difficult, especially if you're in an environment where you have an unpredictable amount of alerts, or you're in an environment where X number of alerts needs to be met and satisfied every single day, or all of them. I've heard, some environments you have to investigate every single alert. That's just, their standard. So what can you do if you're responsible for Security Operations Center to help your people out? One is to make sure that you got that consistent queue. Two is to buy them time, right? Negotiate the SLA. Ensure that you got proper tuning and support for dropping events. You can't look at every single event and overrun your guys. So make sure that you have adequate support to say, we're only going to look at, in peak hours, 1 in 5. 1 in 3, something like that, and having an SLA that's reasonable and does not overrun your folks. So we're going to respond in 4 hours, knowing that your guys can usually respond around 2 or 3. That way, when they get backed up, that they got a little bit of buffer. And then finally, making sure you got proper staffing. So if you look at 24/7 model, there's a spreadsheet out there you can download, and I believe 24/7. You need like 9 people. There's a formula to figure that out, but that includes like people being off and having 2 people on at every shift, and having the shift staggered and whatnot. That's pretty important. Having a good amount of people, not overrunning them, not saying, okay, we got people on call, and on call meaning that one person is now fulfilling 2 people's jobs full time for 24 hours or 48 hours over a weekend. So your people, as we so often say, are your greatest asset when it comes to security, and security operations is an opportunity to get the most out of your people, and an opportunity to design a workflow that prevents burnout and helps them be their best, and helps them help you find the security incidents. So if you're responsible for security operations, a good time to look to see how your people are working. See if they're taking on too much, see if they're getting scrambled by trying to study the board and do everything at once, and see if they're getting overworked. Hopefully they're not. Have a good weekend.